So, the final boss of a game. What is the final boss of a game? The final boss tends to be a culmination of all the skills, the weapons, and all that stuff you've acquired, the knowledge you've gained. Like, oh yeah, make sure when the enemy does this. It preps you. The game preps you for the final boss. And some bosses are great, some bosses are bad. In this current day and age, we should not have a boss that takes only 28 seconds. We shouldn't. Now, off the top of my head, one of the best boss fights was Ganondorf. Which Ganondorf, John? Yes. Pick one. I mean, for Ocarina of Time, that boss fight was pretty cool. I mean, fighting Ganondorf. I mean, you walk in, the dude's like, you're hearing organ music, and you think it's just the music, like every other place in the game has its own music. No, you hear organ music, you get to his room, and you find out that it was him playing the organ. He was playing his own music. And then you're doing like a back and forth with him, which, guess what? It's the same thing that you learned how to do with Phantom Ganon. You defeat him. But it's obviously a little more tricky than that. You've got the platforms that you're standing on. He punches the ground and they fall down. He does the massive thing of doom where the first time you're not gonna really know, but you're supposed to charge up your spin attack and knock it all back at him, and then hit him with a light arrow. And then the second part is the collapsing tower where you follow Zelda. And then the third part is Ganondorf transforms, becomes Ganon, and you've got this hulking beast to deal with. Twilight Princess, one of the coolest. You walk into the castle, and he's just like, "Welcome to my castle." And then, they back and forth, and you're fighting Puppet Zelda, you're fighting Dark Beast Ganon, and that is in the throne room. And then you're outside riding on the horse, trying to shoot the dude with light arrows. And then it's the final battle. It's just a one-on-one with him, one-on-one sword fight with Ganondorf. Then you have like Tears of the Kingdom, where you have the Menace Unleashed, Demon King Ganondorf. And then you take his health away, and then he becomes Master of the Secret Stone, Demon King Ganondorf. And that one, it's got two phases. He has like these shadow clone things that he uses, and then once you get him far enough, he merges with them again, and then it's just a one-on-one duel with him. And then you beat him. Oh, then it doesn't stop there. And then he eats the Secret Stone, becomes a freaking dragon, and then Zelda's got to come help you. And then you're trying to, in the sky, trying to land on Ganondorf, his dragon form to beat the whatever that is. I forgot what they're called. But like 3 phases. And it takes a while. It takes a while. A boss should not be able to be beaten. A final boss should not be able to be beaten in 28 seconds. And this is just one person. This is just one person. This person, obviously it's a different player. Same thing. This boss fight is a joke. I'm sure there are enemies or mini bosses or whatever that are probably harder than this guy.
Stay away, Diogo. Let us settle this like civilized men.
You know nothing of civility.
Yeah.
You talk too much.
Killing me will bring your mother back, Diogo. Think.
That whole fight took what, 20 seconds? So you have one video, 28 seconds. This one about 20 seconds. Why is a final boss able to be beat in such a short time. Hell, I even think Assassin's or Dragon Age the Failguard, I think even that final boss took a lot longer. Like, what is this? Also, the music that they're playing. And then you have Ubisoft here, which the only cool thing is when you heart it, you get that. That's actually pretty cool. But yeah, you have all these hidden replies because it's like, loving the game so far. Shadows is so fun. And then you have one where it's just like a talking point. I need to know if it's a true return to form. Because I mean, obviously it's a joke, but because all these outlets are like, oh, it's a return to form. Like, oh yeah, tell me you're a paid show without telling me you're a paid show. Ever I've played in my life. Must not have played a lot of them. Well done, guys. Here we got Assassin's Creed. Here's on Steam. Current 41,000 people. Now, granted, it's Thursday. So just like all the other games that have failed, we still have the weekend. But day one for not Pal World. Because I'm sorry, I'm looking at Pal World right there. Day one for Monster Hunter Wilds. 2 million players. Day one. It was like released on like a Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever. So during the week, just like 2 million players on Steam. Steam seems to be a pretty good indicator of how well games are doing. So 40,000 right now. Now again, give it the weekend, but I do not think it's going to hit more than maybe 60,000. But they're going to try to say that that's a success. That is a success. Oh, the game was fine. The game was a success. I mean, it's number 36. What's number 15? Grand Theft Auto 5 Legacy, Marvel Rivals. Got freaking Stardew Valley with 100K. Even Kingdom Come Deliverance has gone down. All-time peak was 256,000 players. Like even like you have Terraria is 489,000 total. Power World 2 million total. Like these are good numbers. This how fucking humiliating that your AAA game is lower than a farming and exploring game done by basically every single dev. The boss is some Portuguese guy? Why is the song saying Ching Chong? Oh, that's so bad. The real boss has been the male gamer the entire time. You must defeat yourself and submit to the agenda. That's boring. Give me another. Erlen Shang boss fight. They lowered his difficulty for the same reason they lower college admission standards. Worst final boss battle theme. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Just checked YouTube. It's real. Yeah. Because I just showed it here. It took like 20 seconds to beat the guy. 20 seconds to beat the final boss. Now, there's some games with like progression and you know, the level of the boss, you could be the same level as the boss. And if you go there bare bones, no upgrades, you'll do little damage. You'll still be able to probably beat them after a little bit. And that's one thing. But then you go like fully maxed out, all your skills are maxed out, and you know, max damage. And then those little tiny increments are suddenly you're just like melting away his life. Even though you're like at the same level. And you see a lot with like gacha games. Where you can just go there when you first fight. You know, sometimes a boss fight might take a couple minutes, like 4 or 5 minutes. And then you go back and you're like, no, well, I'm going to level stuff up. I'm going to come back. And every time you level up, it gets progressively easier, where that 5 minutes turns into like 4 minutes. And then that 4 minutes turns into 3 minutes and 30 seconds. And then suddenly it only takes you a total of like a minute and a half. Now, while yes, that's still pretty fast, 28 seconds is still way too low. And I'm talking about like, for me, it's like world bosses or stuff like that. They're not bosses. You know, these are people, enemies you fight for like leveling material. They're not story important. You know, they're not important to the story, or they're just like, oh, I need to level up this character. Let me go fight him. So naturally, a world boss or, you know, something like that, it's not going to be super hard because you're meant to farm it. You're meant to farm it. But the final boss of a game should not take 28 seconds or 20 seconds. Again, there are probably enemies in the game that take longer or took longer to beat than this guy. Like it's so bad. Like this game, the voice acting is terrible. The animation is terrible. The boss fights are just a freaking joke. And people like, if people say something about the game, it'll be like, oh, well, it looks nice. That's what everyone goes to. Whenever you can't think of anything good to say about it, it's just like, oh, well, it looks nice. Well, great. Looking nice doesn't make it a good game now, does it? But 28 seconds, and then about 20 seconds there. This is a AAA game. This is a game where, you know, this isn't the 90s and early 2000s. You know, where games are only like, say, 4 hours long, 4 or 5 hours. No, most games now are upwards to like 30 plus hours. Some of them reaching 100 hours. And this is your final boss? This is your final boss? Like, I just finished playing Mystical Ninja, starring Goemon. The game takes like 4 or 5 hours to beat. But the final boss is good. You know, you summon Impact, and you're doing the whole Impact thing where you're destroying as much stuff as possible to get the, you know, the energy and all that. And then you're fighting Balbara, which is the first phase of the fight. And then you're fighting the next phase with another robot. And it's a good fight. And it definitely takes longer than just 28 seconds. And that's it in game, again, which is only 5 hours long. Like, I think I did like 7 videos, and each video is probably less than an hour. Like 30 minutes or so, at most. These games upwards to 30, from 30 to upwards to 100 hours. And this is what they give us for a final boss? And this is just Yasuke's. Now he's got her own boss fight, and he's just as easy. He's just as easy. So what were they going for here? Oh, hey guys, thanks for playing the game. We're going to make the final boss as easy as possible. Where he just kind of, you know, in Naoi's case, the dude just like swings his sword like a freaking weirdo just at the air. It's like, you're back here, and he's just like, ugh. He's like, what are you swinging at? What are you? I'm over here. Why are you swinging that way? And then you have this dude who's just like, I'm going to lower my pistol extremely slowly, giving you enough time to attack. Like, what is this? What the hell is this? Oh yeah, this person. You want to waste $70 on some slot product? Final bosses should be the hardest in the game since they're, you know, the final boss. But the problem is people are fine with settling for less. Nowadays, people are like, oh, well, it's better than nothing. It's better than nothing. The game looks nice. They make up excuses and instead of just saying, yeah, the game sucks. The game sucks. The final boss should not take this short of time to beat. They're just like, oh, you know. And that's exactly why no one feels the need to change anything. Because of people like that. Nothing will change if there is just one person remaining complacent with it. Like, oh, it's better than nothing. And the game looks nice. And because then the companies are like, well, fuck having standards. These people clearly don't care. So, again, a final boss should take more than 28 seconds to beat. Especially in a game from 30 upwards to 100 hours. You should not be able to go in a few times and be like, oh god, I'm defeated. When you have gacha games where you can go in and, you know, within a minute or two, just world bosses for leveling materials, you know, it takes longer to do those than it took to do this fight. So, anyway, if you're playing it, let me know what you think. And also, just because you like it doesn't make it a success. I don't know what you're talking about, John. It's a great game. Yeah, great. It's a great game. So, well, according to you, only 40 people at least on Steam are playing it. Again, still got the weekend. Tomorrow's Friday. Then we've got the weekend. Still don't think it's going to get very high. It's not going to get very high. I'll say maybe 60, 70,000 at most. Who knows? Maybe I might be surprised. Maybe we all might be surprised. Maybe it will be Game of the Year. Just like Star Wars Outlaws was supposed to be, or Fail Guard was supposed to be, or any of those other games that came out. They were all supposed to be Game of the Year worthy. Nah. Nope. But anyway, that's going to do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.